What's up, guys? I'm Travis, and you're watching Upgraded RC. Come on! Come on! Well, guys, I'm absolutely loving this thing. It's awesome, especially after our last upgrade, which was a small modification to the battery box, so that when we're running a bigger battery with a balance lead, it slides in and out real easy with no problems. That worked out really good. Well, guys, there's one more small detail on this bike that needs to be taken care of. It needs to be addressed. I've heard a lot of you guys on the groups complaining about the front brakes dragging. The lever on the piston lever is not wanting to release the way it's supposed to. I have the same problem. Now, this can cause all kinds of problems, guys. Say you're going into a corner, you're a little bit fast, so you want to brake before you get there, right? And then let off the brakes so you can cruise around that bank corner really nice and smooth. Well, if you use your brakes before you get there and they're not releasing completely, there's a certain amount of drag being applied to the front brake and the front tire. So it's causing you problems getting in and out of that corner. Besides that, what if you're hitting a jump? What if you're coming up to the face of the jump, you just come out of that corner and your brakes are still kind of dragging or maybe locked up a little bit, and you're trying to gas it to get up the face of the jump? Guess what happens when you get in the air? Because your front brake's locked up, it's going to cause you to nosedive or endo. You'll probably crash. Maybe you'll land. I've been lucky a couple times, but I have the same exact problem, guys. And this is a super easy, simple fix. And today we're going to address that. I'm going to show you how. Here's what I'm talking about, guys. See how my front tires got dragged? When I spin this, it should spin effortlessly for a lot longer than that. Okay, it's got a little bit of drag on it right now. Why? Because this lever right here is sticking because the piston inside the caliper is rubbing and sticking. Now watch, if I push up on this lever, let's say I'm using the brakes, look at that. It doesn't even retract on its own. It's supposed to go back down like that. And you can feel it. I mean, there's quite a bit of tension there. Look, my tire is just locked up solid right now. I can't move it. So that's bad, guys. We got to fix that so that this spins really good. We got to get the correct adjustment on here and make it work really well. That's what we're after. That's what we're going to do right now. All right, so let's get this Allen out that's holding on to our lever. Get that out of the way and set it aside. Now there is a spring right here, guys. Just keep in mind it doesn't bounce off and you lose it somewhere, but go ahead and pull that off. You can remove your spring right here. There's the spring, we want to remove that. And then we're going to go ahead and disconnect the cable from the lever, which all we're doing is pushing down and sliding out. There you can see it's free. Here's the lever off. Now what we're going to do is grab the cable and pull up on the housing until it gets to the very top of this clasp right here. Then we're just going to simply slide it right out, and that's it, guys. If you want to get it out of the way even more, you can go ahead and slide this up even further like this and do the same thing. Now we'll just tuck it back over here out of the way and it's out of the picture. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and remove these two Allens that I told you about that are holding on the calipers. We have one on the bottom and one on the top. Okay, there's those. Now our caliper should be 100% free. Gently take it and remove it from your rotor. We'll go ahead and now we're going to remove this Allen right here, which is going to release the brake pads, and we'll have a clean, empty rotor. Now when you take this bolt out, guys, keep in mind that right here, in between, I don't know if you can see that or not, but in between the two brake pads, there's a very small spring. This keeps the brake pads separated and helps them open back up so that your brakes aren't locked up. So be careful when you're pulling this bolt out. That spring is going to pop out as well as your brake pads will. This is the piston right here where your lever was attached to. Wow, see, mine is stuck in there so bad I can't even get it out. Let me get some pliers on this. Wow, guys, mine was really sticking in several spots. I get it going and go to keep turning that counterclockwise rotation and it just keeps sticking on me. So I want to show you guys how this works. This is really simple. What this is this is a cam. That's all this piston is, so that when you turn this clockwise, which when your lever goes up, it activates it and it turns it in on this cam, then it turns the edge of it out, which they're calling the piston on the edge. So as you turn it in, it's pushing against your pads Super simple. And then as you turn it back out, it's supposed to release the pads. The problem is right here, because this is plastic, I don't know if it just didn't get sanded down very good or what from the factory, but you can see every place, all the light spots on this piston, on this cam, so to speak, is worth rubbing on the inside. We want to get rid of that so that there's no rubbing at all, and this turns free so that our tire turns like this. So what we're going to do to fix this, guys, I'm going to take some 220 very fine sandpaper. You can do this with 400. You can do it with 200. I don't know, you might be able to do it with 150. We're not trying to take a whole bunch off of here because that'll ruin the whole operation of this. We just want to take enough off. We want to lightly sand this to where this is smooth. And when it's going inside your caliper here and turning in the clockwise position, it should turn just as smooth as this wheel turns now. I will be using brake cleaner on the brake pads only. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the brake pads down and let them dry, and then I'm going to spray brake cleaner onto a rag, and I'm going to wipe my rotor down to clean that as well. Don't spray brake cleaner or any other chemical directly on this stuff. It's really bad for your plastic, guys. So spray it into a rag and only wipe it on what you want to wipe it on. And do not spray brake cleaner inside this caliper, as it is plastic too, and you'll ruin some stuff. WD-40 is okay for plastic. It may eventually turn some of your plastic a little bit brown, but that's going to take a long time being out in the sun. Anyway, it cleaned up all my plastic parts really good, and then I blew them out with air. I did take my brake pads, like I said, and I sprayed them separately on a rag with brake cleaner, let them dry, and then I took the same rag that had the brake cleaner on it and just wiped down my rotor. And that was about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that piston that's giving you the problems, and we're going to take the Allen that was in the end of it holding on your lever and just go ahead and screw that all the way in until it gets snug. Don't have to tighten it by any means. You can feel it picking up resistance as you're going in. Just get it kind of snug. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our drill here and we're going to put that Allen bolt in the end of our drill so that that's all that it's touching on. You don't want it on the plastic. You just want it on the bolt. Okay, and try to get it so it's pretty centered in there, so when you spin it, it's not wobbly and everything. You know, you want it to be straight. Now I'm going to take my 220 grit sandpaper, or whatever kind of sandpaper you got, and we're just going to wrap this around it like so. Just a little bit. Now I'm going to spin this, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth a little bit here, and all we're looking to do is take off some of the meat that is causing the problems, or if there's any imperfections in this, this is going to take care of it right now. Okay, I think that's going to be it, guys. If we need to go more, we'll go more. But for right now, you can see all the light spots that were on there are now gone. And yes, I realized some of that was dirt, but they were also high spots that were hitting. So now let's go ahead and take this Allen back out of our piston again. All right, so let's check that out. We put our piston in and turn it clockwise, and wow, that is so smooth, guys. It goes right in and out. I'm going to go one step further, guys. I'm going to take some of this lube right here. This is WD-40 dry lube, PTFE spray, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and spray the piston with this. I'm going to put a generous coating on here, and then I'm going to let it sit about, 5 to 10 seconds. You can see it starting to dry up already. Once this looks like it's starting to turn dry, I'm going to take a rag and I'm just going to wipe it off again to get any excess residue that's on there. And what that's going to do is it's going to leave a coating on this of your PTFE. So now it's got a little bit of lubrication, and now it should be extra smooth, no problems at all. Yeah, that feels really good, guys. Okay, now make sure if you do this, which you do not need to do, I'm just doing it for a little bit of extra confidence, a little bit of extra insurance here that it's going to work really good. Make sure you do not use anything that's going to dry wet, okay? Don't say, call me up complaining, going, hey, I did that with a spray and now it's all, there's dirt stuck in there and everything. No, make sure you use a dry lube, whatever you use, so that it dries up and it's gone. And then go ahead and wipe it back down anyway. What's going to happen is it's going to leave a little bit of a coating on there. Okay, guys, so we went ahead and put our brake pads into our caliper along with that little spring, and then we ran the screw through to hold everything together. Now, if you're having problems trying to hold your caliper and the brake pads in while you get that little spring and the bolt in, here's the trick. Take a little pick And once your brake pads are in place where they're supposed to be, but the bolt's not in yet, go ahead and stick the pick into the brake pads to hold them where they're at. Now it makes it a little bit easier to get that spring in there and lined up before you slide your bolt through and tighten everything up. That's awesome, that's what we want. Next, we're going to take our piston here and we're going to screw this in counterclockwise all the way by hand, okay, until it stops. Now my tire's got drag on it because it's stopping. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to back this off just a little bit, not very much, but you want to back it off to where your tire still spins very free, just like we were spinning a second ago without that in there. You might want to go a hair more. This is totally up to you guys, and don't worry about going too much or not enough. On your remote, you've got a trim there that we can go either way to fix this. Now, if you're all the way one way on the trim and not the other, you may have to make adjustments here. You might have to pull this off a couple times to get it right, guys. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and take this lever here and this spring, and this spring has a piece coming out that's straight on the top and a piece on the bottom with a coil in the center. You want to put this on your lever so that the piece sticking out is on the bottom and then your coil is in the center, and you go over the lever here like this, and then it's kind of hard for you guys to see, but if you rotate this clockwise, this spring is going to drop right into this groove right here that's going to keep it in place. And you'll figure it out as soon as you put it on there. If you can't see it, I'm sorry about that. And then we're going to take this is a foam pad that you might have noticed it comes off. This is where it goes. It goes right here over the piston. That's to keep your dust and debris out of the piston and keep it clean. Now we're going to go ahead, and this part of your lever right here, we want that to touch the bottom of the caliper when we're putting it on. So go ahead and put it on at the lowest setting you can get it, right up over the gears. There you go. So everything spins really good now. And that might be just a little bit too much still, guys. I think I'm going to back mine off just a hair more here. We're going to take it and go back just a little bit more. Now I'm going to put this back on. Okay, you can test it just like this. If it spins free the way you want it, you're good to go. If it doesn't spin enough, go ahead and back it off more, and then just go ahead and rotate it up with your fingers and see if it stops. If it stops, okay, great. And remember, guys, we have a rate on our radio control as well. So not only can we adjust the trim from the servo, the way the cable's pulling, but we can also adjust the rate, how hard we want it to pull, how much braking force we want. So once you get that on there and it's all set up, very gently, then without knocking it over, go ahead and put your Allen in here and screw this down right where you want it. And once again, guys, we are metal bolt here going into plastic pieces, so we don't want to go too tight. We definitely want it to be snug and in there with a certain amount of tension on it, but don't strip it out. I mean, you can feel when it's starting to get tight. Just go till it feels tight and then stop. So there you go. Spins really good. Our lever goes up and down, no problem now. There's no sticking. Now the other part of the spring that's sticking out, this other flat piece here, what we're going to do is we're going to take our pick and just go ahead and go up and over that bolt. Did I get it? I didn't get it. Hold on. This might be a little bit tricky here. You got to get that up and over that bolt there into its position where it wants to be. There we go. And it locks in that groove so it can't come out. Now we're in there. Let's see if this works now. Oh, look at that. Look at the return on this, guys. That spring is doing its job. There's no tension on the piston no more. It just comes right back down. Okay, we're almost done now. Let's go ahead and bring our cable back down through here, and we're going to route it through the first clasp that we went through with the housing. That comes down. Now what we're going to do, before we put it in this other clasp, we're going to take our cable, and this is a little bit tricky also, guys. You're going to want to put your cable in between the lever and this part of your fork lug right here on the bottom. Slide it into its groove, and then you can feel it once it gets in there. Go ahead and pull your cable back up, and you want to pull it up until this housing right here is over the bottom of that clasp. Push up on your lever if you need to help you out a little bit. So now we got our cable in here, and our housing is above it. Now I can let go and push our cable back down in until it seats, and that's it. All right, so I went ahead and put a battery in our Moto MX here, and I fired it up and the remote, and let's see here, there's our steering. Okay, let's look at our brakes here. You can see the lever going up and down and retracting on its own just fine, no problem. Let's spin the tire. We have no drag on it at all. Looks like it's going effortlessly for a long time. Okay, brake. stops right away and releases. That is what we are looking for, guys. Well, guys, I'm going to go one step further here. I was talking to you about the adjustments on your radio. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in now, and I'm going to show you them adjustments, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, so looking at our radio here, you'll notice that the very first knob here says front brake trim, and then you skip one, which is the steering trim, and then you go to the front brake travel. So we want to start with our front brake trim right here, and what you're going to want to do is take this knob and turn it all the way counterclockwise to the left to 0. Now, when you use your front brake, it should not work at all. What you want to do is go ahead and barely take and turn this until your lever on the piston just barely starts to move and gives you just a little bit of drag. And then you're going to back it off just a hair, just like we did with the piston and the lever, because when you're not applying the brake, you don't want any drag, obviously. That's what this is all about. We jump back here to your front brake travel. Now, this is how much brake you want. When you grab the brake, this is how hard you want it to stop. You always hear people saying that 82% of your stopping power is your front brake. Well, I believe that thoroughly. It worked out really good for me in my racing days and with other motorcycles. I like 80%. That's where I keep mine. This knob is about 80% and it just works awesome for me. Now guys, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you once again for watching. I really appreciate it. I love teaching you guys this stuff. I love the transfer of knowledge that I'm giving you. I mean, with all the motocross that I had in my background, I am so performance orientated on everything. I'm always looking to get the most out of my RCs, the best of the best, whatever I can do to get that little bit of advantage on my competitor. Or maybe you're just out bashing in the backyard having a great time. Now your front tire's not going to lock up coming out of the corner. You're not going to go over that jump face and do an endo because your front tire's locked up. We fixed that. And speaking of that, guys, I think we've pretty much taken care of all the factory defects on this bike. I mean, we took care of the battery box problem, which you guys, if you haven't watched that yet, I'll put a link up at the end of this video so you guys can watch that. Makes the battery slide in and out real easy. Now we've taken care of the front brake. I don't think there's any other issues here that need to be addressed. If there are, let me know so I know what's going on. I haven't driven this around very much, but I sure do like it. I'm having a great time with it. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to comment down below. I will get back with you as soon as I can. May not be right away, but I promise I will. Or maybe you go to my Facebook group. It's Upgraded RC Bashers, Crashers, and Crawlers. Now, if you've already joined, that's awesome. You're enjoying the benefits. If you haven't joined, go ahead. And I'll answer your questions for you if you leave them. And please, put your pictures up there and your videos. I mean, I show you guys all my videos. I want to see you guys out there bashing and running around the course and having fun, or maybe show me a short video of some competition you were in on track with lots of other MX. I think that would be great. Guys, once again, I am Travis. You're watching Upgraded RC. Peace out.